So, you say you're interested in building a competitive modern deck that won't break your bank account? And you also think you one day might be interested in Legacy? Then have I got a deck for you. Mono Blue Merfolk. Why? Mono Blue Merfolk is affordable, competitive modern deck, and it shares about 2/3 of the same cards as its Legacy counterpart. That means that if you build a modern Merfolk deck, you've practically got a Legacy deck as well. What's more, the cards do not rotate out of either format, so unlike Standard, once you've bought and built this deck, you can play it forever. Modern Blue Merfolk combines tempo with aggro swarm for a highly competitive deck. While not exactly a budget deck, Merfolk manages to keep costs down, largely because the fact it is mono-colored means it doesn't use fetch lands or other duels. Right now, one of the top Standard decks, Esper Control, is about $400 if you were to buy all the singles from scratch. Compare that to the cost of modern Merfolk, which is about $300 to $350, or even as low as $200 to $250 if you feel like playing without the Mutavaults. Now combine that with the fact that 2/3 of the cards in this deck are shared with its Legacy counterpart, and you've got a great choice of decks to buy into if you're not already in Modern. It's not quite a Legacy and Modern deck in one, but it is very close. This isn't a guide for winning the Pro Tour, far from it. It is, however, a guide for buying into Modern and possibly upgrading to Legacy at a fair and reasonable price and being able to have a fun, yet still highly competitive deck in the process. Let's start with the Modern deck list. Cursecatcher has, surprisingly, shot up in price to a whopping $10 each as of the time of this video. But I'll be honest with you, I personally am not a fan of Cursecatchers. I'd replace those Cursecatchers with 2 Kira Great Glass Spinner at only $5 each, and maybe 2 Dispel, Mana Leak, or another card of your preference. The deck is highly tweakable, another of its many perks. The most expensive thing, price-wise at the moment, are Mutavaults. I hope you grabbed your playset when M14 hit the shelves and they were as low as $10 each. As of the time of this video, a playset of Mutavaults will cost you $120. I hope that when this Standard set rotates, that price will drop, but it may not. You can run the deck without them, and in fact, I did just that until the M14 reprint briefly put them in my price range. But the deck will be significantly weaker without them. So, at this point, you've got yourself a Legacy deck minus 2 playsets of cards. Those are a playset of Days, affordably priced at $5 each for a total of $20, and less affordable, that's right, a playset of Force of Wills. Yes, you need them, and yes, they are expensive, but if you've built this deck for Modern, your upgrade cost is only the Dazes and the Forces for about $250 plus $20, $270. Again, looking at the cost of other Legacy decks, or comparing to Standard costs, makes a $270 upgrade fee not so bad. And at this point, you've got a deck for Modern and for Legacy. If you are going to transform it into a Legacy deck, swap out the Remand for Forces. For the Days, which are also a must, you can choose to swap out anything from the Spreading Seas to even the Cursecatchers, or the Vapor Snags, to whatever else you may have augmented with the Modern list. Again, there's a lot of flexibility here. Players have a lot of choices to put their own unique spin on the deck. Another popular and still affordable choice is to splash white. Splashing white is easy because Wanderwine hubs come into play untapped so long as you've got a Merfolk in hand, which is pretty much always. Again, no fetch lands needed here. Just those darn Mutavaults for Modern, and of course the Force of Wills for Legacy. I find it curious that people react much more strongly to someone saying, I'm going to buy a playset of Force of Will, than they might to someone saying, I'm going to build an Esper control deck for Standard. That Standard deck is going to cost upwards of $400. The cards will lose value and rotate out, whereas Modern/Legacy Merfolk is never going to rotate. For long-term players, Standard is one of the most expensive formats around, unless you are amazingly savvy about when and how you cash out your cards pre-rotation. This deck offers an amazing amount of versatility. While it still may not win you a Pro Tour, it is very competitive nonetheless, and quite frankly, a lot of fun to play. I hope this video has been of some use to you, and remember, support your Magic community. Buy your singles at your local game store whenever possible.